And welcome back to
Oh,
another indie interview. I am Mike Grayworks, the creator of Howling Hoods, Entangled, and other animation projects. Here I am joined with a very, very special guest, someone I've actually been looking forward to interviewing for a long time. Poppihin, the creator of Ebony Witch. How you doing?
hello. I'm doing great. Cannot complain.
How's your day been going?
It is so far pretty good.
Mhm.
It's gonna rain soon, so I'm
Yeah,
excited about that. I'm hoping there'll be like thunder.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a nice atmospheric kind of rain, hopefully. Just
oh yeah, no, this is gonna be a storm.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, it's a good thing I got you when I did, and this is actually a career I've been wanting to interview for a long time because I know this stuff like a while ago, years back, and I actually pledged to their Kickstarter, Ebony Witch. But before we can get into that and talk more about fantasy and animation and the future of Ebony Witch, what have you been watching lately? It could be a TV show, movie, video game, book. Just what has recently really grabbed your interest?
Oh, okay. The thing that I've been watching most recently is then I've been rewatching the Hill House series.
Really?
So, I mean, oh
Nice.
yeah, I'm a big fan of horror. I usually think it balances it out. I like drawing cute stuff. Then I like what I mostly consume thriller horror content. Technically, it's not horrific. It's quite. It's just I like the sad. I like the sadness in it. The sad inevitability of the slow march of death. It's fun. So
Comes for
Hill
us all.
House, hell yeah, Hill House, Blair Manor, and I've been put on Whack Fu because
Oh
I was told,
yeah, I saw that years ago.
oh, I was put on it recently. I was like, this is actually quite fun.
Yeah.
It's about 3 seasons. I think I've made it halfway to season one. So
Mhm,
it's quite cute.
mhm,
I like
mhm.
Amelia and the
Yeah.
elf. Very
Mhm.
cute.
Yeah, it has that style of like French animation where it's like this isn't quite like American animation, like the stuff you would see back then, but it's also not like quite Japanese. It has its own very specific sense of humor. Just
Yeah. It's like I really love French content. My favorite comic is Pippa and Carrot. That's
nice.
actually one of the main books I got into art with. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to follow all your tutorials.
Mhm.
Oof, my early stuff could have been plagiarized. But
Yeah.
I love this. I love that stuff.
Copyright laws are
Also,
very different in France. God.
oh hell yeah. But like, oh, it's so cool. Now the crows are coming. Ah, it's my own fault. If you hear crows, that's why I'm
That
like,
I thought those were goats.
no, crows. So
Damn,
like
that's crazy.
really getting into the storms feeling. If I had black curtains,
Yeah.
I would go full gothic. That'd be
Yeah,
so
you'll
cool.
do the whole witch thing.
Yes, I'm going to go fully gothic. Hey, hang on. Sound
But
like
yeah.
goats? I don't think goats sound like that, dude. Goats have
Yeah.
like a bar.
Yeah, well, I was just like a really angry baby goat, just like them fighting or something.
Nah, this is a murder of crow. Am I allowed to say murder or you can just bleep that out?
Murder of
Murder
crows.
of crows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
But
my own fault. It's like everyone's they they're preparing for the rain. That's
uh,
gonna be cool.
I love that. Though speaking of crows and atmosphere and gothic, as we mentioned, you are the creator of indie animation project that kind of took a lot of the internet by storm. It kind of came out of, to some people, kind of came out of nowhere, called the Ebony Witch. It's got witches, it's got fantasy, it's got 3D animation. It's very reminiscent of older like dark fantasy while also like being completely like original. I gotta say, like I'm super impressed by this series, and its pilot has been out for like a month at this point.
Yeah, a month and a week. Exactly.
Nice, nice. Is the reception to what you've gotten like everything you've hoped for and more? Were you shocked by the
Oh,
reception, or were you like, I knew you guys were gonna love this. I knew this was gonna be amazing.
yeah, I was surprised because I was like, oh God, I kept getting held up at work and stuff kept coming up. Even on like the last day of uploading, you said, oh no, this video, I wanted to use La Mer, which is a song I have loved for years. I was like, no, you can't like, this one is copyrighted. You could either mute the part. I'm like, do I mute the whole film? No. So it came out and people actually liked it. I was like, dang, for real?
Yeah,
Awesome. I was mostly, I'm going to I was like expecting maybe, I would have been thrilled if usually my videos get on YouTube. It usually typically goes to like 4 or 5 thousand views. So like, I would
Mhm.
have been happy with 10. I would have been really cool. I'm like, that would be awesome because it's more like, how do I put this? I have I am I manage my expectations, and statistically, that would have been it would have likely performed higher, but it has performed way higher than expected. I'm like, wow, y'all actually want to see this? That's cool.
I
That's
love
like,
that.
ooh,
That
that's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's great. It's a project I've been following for several years at this point. The art style just immediately grabbed me, but also this being a 3D project really grabbed me. But I have to ask before we get more into Ebony Witch as a whole, I want to know about you and your background as an artist, and what made you want to pursue such an artistic career, and how'd you develop your style?
I started out originally. I did want to get into art, like straight out of high school. But art school is mad expensive. Like, yikes. So I was like, okay, we'll work regularly and join a ton of competitions and use those as like certification to work in like arts. So one of them I entered was the Sony Talent League. I think that was in 2021.
Mhm,
And it really, we managed to get into like finalists. Once you got in, they like had a mentorship program.
mhm.
So I got like meet industry professionals that are really cool and really nice. Like, they're so kind. And they're able to help me and my friends who still work on the project, the Ebony Witch, to like get into, I want to call it Hollywood standard or
Mhm.
almost Hollywood standard. Like, we know what to expect if we got into it. And one of our mentors did say, we have technical skills, but we don't know how to tell a story. So he just suggested, make a comic. You don't seem to have like the time to get into a writing class, just draw a comic. It'll basically teach you how to make everything. I'm like, okay, sure. So I made the Ebony Witch, and I was just like, this is just going to be for fun, no expectations. If I can draw 20 panels in a day, I'll draw 20 panels. If I can draw one, that's what's getting posted. And I put it up on Webtoon. And you can actually see I use it now as an archive, so you can actually see my art style
Mhm.
developing. Because from chapter one, that's when I bought a tablet up until the latest one. That was like my first tablet in life. So you can actually see my art style develop. And you can see I got the art style when I was like in chapter 24.
I
So
love
let's
that.
see. Yeah, it's a very trackable. That's why I'll never take that book down. I like just going back and be like, look how far you've come. Oh, the comic is actually a main reason I got into, like, instead of looking for work in film, because I used to do a bit of freelance for games. I worked at Playground Games, lovely people, but it was mostly like environment design.
Mhm.
So it's impossibly I find it a lot easier to get work in game development than in film. So my logic was, I'll just use, once the comic book reached a milestone. What was it? I think it was about 10K readers on Webtoon. Actually, that was a huge deal because like it's Webtoon and Webtoon is saturated as hell, and I have a
Yeah.
terrible upload schedule. So I just said, well, I can animate. I'll just animate something short for you guys so you can see if, as a thank you, because the readers were reading.
Mhm.
Then I think I liked working on it a lot more than I expected. So it just kind of snowballed into that. Like, would you guys like to see a 1 minute short if that works? Like, okay, sure, we can pledge on Patreon to like watch a minute of stuff. Like, awesome. Then I made, that was a witch's wash day. That was like what I used to establish the animation style that we'll be going on forward with. Then from there I was like, we could make a pilot. I think I kept kept expanding like our reach. We could totally make a pilot. She said, sure. That's when I opened the Kickstarter. And yay, it got funded. And now the pilot's
Yeah.
out, and I'm working on episode. Well, I I found that I don't know how to define a pilot properly. I consider a pilot is a proof of concept
Mhm.
rather than the first episode. So that's why I call it episode zero. But the rest of the story, now that people like know about it, will likely. be kind of different, but not too different from the book. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, it's difficult to explain. Like, this was a proof of concept. Episode one will be like episodic, maybe. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain it, but it'll be fun. I'm having fun so far, at least.
It's great. I love seeing just the artistic development of different like indie animators and artists I've interviewed. And it's so cool to find out that like you weren't even like expecting it to pop off as an animation, and just hearing that it wanted to be a comic, that kind of like it shocked me in an interesting way because when I just look at this art style and this world, it just makes me think of like older animation and like a great like style and all of that. And since we've alluded to it a bit, I would like to ask you, can you give a very quick like your elevator pitch of Ebony Witch to the people?
Oh, okay. Um, the Ebony Witch is a fantasy story about the last witch in the realm and how she is going to bring back magic to the world, mostly by making friends and killing the Dragon Queen, because the
Nice.
Dragon Queen is the one hunting down witches. Essentially, it is a coming of age story of a girl learning to make friends while taking down an imperialist dictator with dragons and cats.
It's a story we can all get behind,
Oh
especially this
yeah,
day.
especially in this economy. Oh my
Yeah,
God, have you seen the price of gas?
yeah, no, it's crazy.
Jesus!
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Bonnie's doing great with her like little broomstick now. I'm guessing. Just
yeah, God, if I could fly or teleport, like, adult problems. Film
yeah,
is now my escape. That was like, if only I could fly, but I'm just gonna buy a bike. I am genuinely just gonna buy a bike.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great. But yeah, Ebony Witch has been a project I've been a fan of for some time just because when I just saw the first art style, it seemed so like reminiscent of like older, kind of like darker atmospheric fantasy, but also it seems so new. And then when I found out, because when I found out you were making like a 3D thing, it's like I have to get behind this. I have to pledge to the Kickstarter, which I did. To be fair, I don't have a
Thank
ton of
you.
money. I am a fellow animator, so but I gave you my $5. Just
I appreciate. Oh my God, it helped. Like, look at us. I have a
yeah,
pilot out. I have
yeah,
a director.
yeah, it's great, and I love seeing the development of it, especially because there are so many artists, both like indie and big, in the past, who kind of have this like a shocking log line of their work and their development. I think about Don Bluth a lot of how he started in animation, and it was so interesting to see him take so much money out of pocket to make his own shorts to prove he could make like a movie on his own. I gotta ask because
Yeah.
there's definitely I've seen a lot of like animation inspirations with this and like music and like you talk about like your influence. Was there any movie or TV show in particular that really influenced the vibe of Ebony Witch?
Yes, I even have the art book. Wolfwalker. This is a
Oh, that's
Wolfwalker
so
art book.
cool.
Like, I have a ton of them here. So I would say like the Wolfwalker's style, mostly cartoon saloons stuff, is a really
Mhm.
strong influence. But I could say that most I could say I'm more artistically inspired. Like, I follow a lot of old artists, Salvador Dali. If you ignore
Yes.
like a lot of them are really problematic. So just everyone I mention, I don't support their views or their interests. Like, oof, especially Salvador Dali. My God, yikes! But he had great. I actually actively have to separate the art from the artist. Wonderful art,
Yeah.
like beautiful dreamlike sequences that were,
Mhm.
if I'm like always like that's so gorgeous. So mostly I try to go for more impressionist style. So I read a lot of art history so I could figure out like lighting, chiaroscuro, which is chiaroscuro doesn't mostly I use contrast, so I could say more of so I think I'll focus on the impressionistic aspect of it. Like, I like old artists that I like trying to recreate their stuff in my
Yeah.
project.
Mhm.
And Don Bluth is one of my
Yes.
favorite animators because
I,
wow, he has beautiful things.
I
Like,
got a photo of him years ago, 2 years
oh,
ago actually. Uh,
It's so cool. Lucky.
Of like I've met my fair share of famous people in the past, but it's just
Oh,
when I met Don Bluth for the
lucky.
first time, it's like I immediately felt flush. He was so cool, he was so nice. And it was just like,
Lucky.
yeah, yeah, definitely one of the coolest people I've gotten to meet.
That's dang, that's so lucky, man. Like all these guys are usually so nice.
Mhm.
And everyone I've met has been incredibly nice. And they're like humble as hell. I know I wouldn't. Would I be? I'm not sure.
We'll see. We'll see in the future after you make your big studio.
Hell
But
yeah. I
yeah.
was like, would I be this nice? I try to be. Like, since a lot of my mentors have been very kind and with what I work with. So if someone usually asks for assistance, I'm like, okay, I can do this now. If this is what you need, I can usually assist. Or if you
Mhm.
need like project files to study, sure. I don't mind sharing them because I do use Krita, which is I do use Krita, only free programs. So I'm like, people, if I could, oh God, if I need more artists, especially today.
Mhm.
It's like it's always fun. It's always neat to. Wait, I think we've gone off the question,
No,
but
you're
yes,
good.
don't.
I was just talking about your inspirations, especially
Uh,
in animation and art. But I want to know because a lot of your animation influences and your art style as a whole seems to be more inspired by like older artists to a degree. Is there a reason why
oh
you're more
yeah,
attracted to older art and like animated movies compared to like more recent fantasy?
I don't know how to say this without it sounding mean, but I've said it to my friends often. I genuinely believe the last good film for me was made in 2011.
Really?
To be
Well,
like
what was it?
I everything else. I Well, now when you ask what was it, that kind of gets difficult. But I'm like, I find that everything before 2011, I like it, and the
Mhm.
older it goes, the more I seem to like it, and the newer stuff is just very new.
Mm.
That's the best way I can put it. It feels young to me, which is crazy because in 2011 I was 11. So I'm like, everything seems very young. Like they're trying to say, "Hey, I'm just like you."
Mhm.
That's not ideal. I don't want to be related to.
Yeah.
I'm a life. My life is pretty dull. I'd like more inspirational stuff. Like, and I find I watch a lot of older films, and most older films are trying to bring people up to them
Mhm.
rather than relating to them. I
Yeah.
feel, and I find I like that manner of storytelling better because I don't like. I have friends for that. I don't know why the film is trying to be my friend. I have actual friends
Right.
for that.
Uh, Reminds me of there was an interview with Guillermo del Toro. I remember reading, and he was talking about like in movies, especially movies that's like kind of geared towards kids. He's like, I don't like it when those movies have like they're trying too hard to make the family super likable and funny and energetic. He's like, I was a boring kid. I had a boring dad.
Yeah,
That
I'm
level of
like,
like respecting kids to a degree when it comes to an animated movie or fantasy of like you can just soak in the atmosphere.
yeah, you could just like chill for a bit. Like, oh, it's really trying really hard to be my friend. And I'm like, I'm trying to escape my current life. So, like, provide the escapism. I'm here for like escapism. I want to
Yeah.
fly on a dragon. I don't want to hear about your feelings. I want to hear your feelings while flying the dragon, but I don't want to like, uh, I don't want to. It feels like I'm the films. It feels like I'm what the show's therapist half the time. A
Yeah.
lot of therapy speak. Everyone's a lot of therapy speak is like being put in the script, and I'm like, oh come on, man! I just want. I genuinely, I'm just here for like an adrenaline rush or like
Mhm.
to chill out. One of the two.
I love
So
that.
older films for me work way better. I do like. Wait, with the exception of Julie and the Phantoms, I
Mhm.
loved that show. That's a series on Netflix that was cancelled.
Oh, of
But it
course.
was good. It was really good. That
But
was
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah.
So
That
let's
was
see. Most recent, everything I like ends up getting cancelled.
yeah.
So,
That's way of the
it's
greats too.
fine.
I remember that happened with that the new there's a Dark Crystal prequel show and that got canceled
God,
after like
yes.
yeah.
I'll be like, oh my God, I love Jim Henson. God,
Yeah.
Dark Crystal is out. That is right up my alley. I was like, this is perfect. If we just get to season 2, cancelled.
Yeah,
Fine,
yeah.
fine.
And that was something that really drew me to Ebony Witch was that there were a handful of animation tests that I saw that use older Hollywood movies, Strawberry something, but
Yeah,
that
Strawberry Blonde.
Strawberry Blonde, yeah, that really grasped me because I love the sound and audio and just atmosphere of older Hollywood movies. It's kind of hard to replicate now with so much digital stuff going on.
Oh
And
yeah.
was that influence in your development of the world of Ebony Witch or the characters at all?
I'd say rather than okay, I like the Strawberry Blonde that's one of my favorite films,
Mhm.
but rather than influence, it's more of a contemporary story. Strawberry Blonde was more like okay, it does influence mostly the script, but not like the design of the world. Because it's more, how do I put this? It's a buddy comedy. It's how do I even describe it? I don't know how to describe such films. Are they comedic? Are they tragic? That's why I like old films. They don't like have clear lines. It felt like just a picture of a character's life
Mhm.
that we got to see for a minute and then we left off.
Mhm.
The Strawberry Blonde is like the story of a guy, a poor guy who makes friends with a really rich dude, and that really rich dude takes advantage of him and has him take the fall for like his embezzlement.
Mhm.
And then in the future, he becomes a dent. That's literally the plot line. Then in the future, he becomes a dentist and pulls out his tooth. That's literally it. It was just a picture of the guy. I've described the whole plot. But if you watch the film, it's like a great character study.
Mhm.
So I try to like, I would like my films to be like that. You'd be like trying to, if you describe them, it's actually quite dull, but it's a great character study. Builds, each character is very different from start to end. It's kind of sexist because it was like 1940s.
Yeah,
So it's kind
definitely.
of
You'll
sexist.
get that occasionally. Some old Hollywood movies.
They're like, oof, rough. Like, if you just, you kind of have to, I've learned to like mostly take yeah, it's just a great character study. Like they're very different from the start. Okay, to be fair, he's roughly the same from start to end.
Mhm.
The main character is the only one that didn't change, but everyone around him grew as people, which was neat. Like his friend who constantly took advantage of him. Yes, he became ridiculously wealthy, but he's still, but all the choices he has made to become ridiculously wealthy have left him isolated in an unloving marriage with a girl, the strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
Like the girl is the strawberry blonde, and his wife hates him. So that's unfortunate. Then his wife, the strawberry blonde, the actual girl, started out as a debutante. She was really like having a fun life, and then all her choices to like get with this rich dude have kind of robbed her of the joy of living. Like she's become not the joy of living, the innocence of it. And she was like wide eyed and everything is I can do whatever I can do everything. Like that whole you can become anything for you is just raw. It's just chipped away by realism. And then her friend, who becomes the main character's wife, started out as a fairly bitter girl, but then as the story goes on, she learns to soften up a bit and become a bit more happy. Like everyone is developing in that way. Roughly, the story is just a snapshot of people's lives, and I like those ones. I really like such stories. That's why I'm a big fan of Hill House. And the only other animated films I see doing that are Ghibli. So
Yeah.
I have I love Studio Ghibli so much. Oh my god!
Mhm. Yeah.
If I could, God, if I could just like one of my trips for one of my I'm planning like to visit the theme park next year just so I could see the film. They have a short film that they like that they only screen there. So I will. I could buy it on Blu-ray, but I think I won't see it in there. That'll be
Yeah.
cool.
It sounds like you have a very romantic take on a lot of both settings and character wise. And I really
Yes.
want to ask because she caught the attention of so many people. The character of Bonnie, the titular Ebony Witch, what was the
Thank you.
process of creating her from her design to her outfit? Because she looks she almost looks like a character that's been like around for years at this point, despite being pretty new.
Okay. Um, what was the term? The best way I can put it is wish fulfillment.
I love that.
Like every time her design honestly was mostly developed in the comic. I can't say I took like a day. I can't even say I took like a while to develop her character sheets because I was learning to make. I was just learning with the comic. I didn't even know what a character sheet was until like chapter 10 of writing the comic. So it was mostly like I go figuring out what to do with her. Her design is very things that I like.
Yeah.
She has head markings because the because there's a thing we usually do back home where I this is let me try to explain this. I'm trying to like translate it in my head. Well, there's a thing where the families go to like escort the bride to her new home. So the women doll themselves up in like face paint and such. The ones escorting her. So I'm constantly like, that's one of my favorite things to do. So I just gave her a mark that shows her. You don't really know how to read it, but it just shows her age is 16.
Yeah.
Like that's what it translates to. And I just gave her really big hair because I really like big hair. And I gave her thigh high boots because I like thigh high
Of
boots. My
course.
favorite color is green, so gets put in a green dress. I could go into like technically I could go into a story of how green is a color that resists light a lot.
Mhm.
Really resists light a lot, and there is like the aspect of resistance in the film when the main villain is like the embodiment of fire. But it can boil down. All that can be ignored because I just really like green. It kind of just falls into that, and I like her silhouette, like her dress and her outfit are just inspired by outfits I like.
Yeah,
For
yeah. I gotta say
instance,
the effect of her putting her hood on and that creating like kind of a witch hat and like the two
yeah,
eyes. That was so
I don't.
cool. I love seeing
I
that.
have fun with that. Oh, that's I love doing those. I love figuring out those things. Like I wanted, I wanted it to just be like she can go from a very adorable girl into gremlin mode.
Yeah.
She's so fun.
Yep.
Like
Yeah. It
those
almost
are
kind of
fun
reminds.
things to work on.
It almost kind of reminds me of like older Zelda games with this character. I was just like, here's this kind of fantasy character, like but it's also it was at that level of like, there's just some weird stuff in the background we're not going to fully get into with these characters' personality, especially like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. It kind of gives me
Yeah,
that like comforting dark vibe.
yeah, that's what I'm going for. Wait, I really liked Ocarina. That's fair. That's kind of what I'm going for. And then I'm also like, I try to simplify the design a lot. It might look complicated, but it is just square on top, triangle bottom, and black shoes. Like
Nice.
she is a very simple design. Because I spend a lot of time like painting the backgrounds, so I'm always like the characters have to be simplified a lot,
Mhm.
so the backgrounds cannot like overwhelm the viewer. And
Yeah.
also her hair is big enough for it to act as a framing device. Like
Mhm.
even if I put her, I like adding a lot of color. Like I just take a bucket and pour it in. So even if I do all that, she will be noticed because she is like 70% a black circle.
Yeah. That's it's been an interesting conversation to see online of people talk about like modern fantasy movies, both in live action and in animation. And they say the issue they have with a lot of them, especially in live action, is that like the colors are too dull, it's too gray, it's not bright enough
Oh
outside.
yes. Oh
And
my.
with like animation, like there's like with now where it's just cocoa melon colors of like here's the bright stuff for like the little kids. I love this like cozy kind of like almost like more shaded atmosphere you have. And finding out you painted the backgrounds is so cool.
I love, yes, painting is fun. Painting is genuinely one of the one of like I want to say one of the few joys that's kind of depressing, but it's like I enjoy it. It's fun. There used to be a thing I used to do called Sunday Paint, where I'd just make sure I have everything cleared by 12 noon, and I just spend the rest of the day painting until I stop,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
Yeah, the backgrounds kind of remind me a bit of Sleeping Beauty background specifically. Uh,
Yes,
yeah.
I
Was that an
I
influence?
studied that film like
Uh,
mad.
yeah,
Like,
that was the first movie I saw like as a little kid where my brain like turned on. Like, oh, movies can be things. Movies aren't just like sparkly like colors and noises to keep your kid quiet.
everything's fine. Ah, sorry, my pop up. Like,
No, you're good.
but yeah, let me see. I'm trying to stick it back onto the screen. I, but like, I love. Oh, Sleeping Beauty was such a beautiful film. They did a lot. How do I put this? I forget the artist's name right now. I'll probably remember it in like 10 minutes. But it had this very structured geometry look, but being
Mhm.
very painterly. I know they were all mostly done by one artist based off of their art style, and then they just built it up on that. But what it was, I studied that film a lot. Like even a lot of Bonnie's animation tests are set
Mhm.
in just like Sleeping Beauty universe.
Yeah,
But
that
like,
older, almost like background kind of like almost ballet kind
yeah,
of like atmosphere it has.
yes. And then when you study a lot of ballets are actually recorded on YouTube, and
Mhm.
if you watch them, they really make framing things a lot easier. Like I felt
Mhm.
people really like our layout and positioning, and I'm like, you will love the Dracula. You would love the Dracula ballet
Right,
Set
Francis
by the
Ford.
Polish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's set by the Polish National Ballet Institute.
Mhm.
Like they post all of their stuff. You would
Yeah.
love their rendition of Dracula because I just basically stole a lot of their borrowed a lot of their layout. It's such like they fit such a huge stage in 1080 by 1980, whatever the phone format is. Yeah, 1920 by 1080. They take such a huge theater and just fit it there, and you're like, I understand now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love especially the theme.
Drawing inspiration from everywhere. I have tried. Okay, there was a time I was trying to do the Wolf Walkers. I want to call it. I don't know how they. I don't know what to call how they frame things, but it's always unique. Like
Yeah, it's a
you can
very
see
specific
everything.
style.
Yeah, I was trying to copy their layout for a bit, and wow, it was difficult. I quickly
Mhm.
gave up, but I am going to try until I get it right. Somehow or other, I'm going to figure it out. But like, oh, it's there's just drawing inspiration from everything. Well, not everything,
Yeah,
but
but
almost everything.
yeah. I love that. It's such a interesting kind of just take when it comes to influences, and it's like my background. Funny enough, like I was also a huge fan of all these older Disney movies as well because I had a lot of them on VHS, and just hearing that and seeing that like inspiration behind Ebony Witch really made me want to watch it. And something that kind of like shocked me when I first saw it, but it's like you went 3D with Ebony Witch, one of the first
Yeah.
like 3D productions of like a pretty small team, all things considered. Because when people think of like 3D animation and indie animation, they think of stuff like Glitch and like that kind of stuff of like the Amazing Digital Circus. And it's just like I gotta ask, like, what made you want to take this kind of like dark, kind of cozy fantasy and make it 3D specifically? Because I think it gives it such a unique look.
Oh, okay. I shall be frank. It's mostly because I just really enjoy working in Blender. It's way.
It's free.
It's free. Yes. Sorry, what's going? It's free and way easier to work on. So my logic was all of us know how to do 3D modeling. Like
Mhm.
we know how to work in 3D objects. So it's not difficult to ask my friends who are the ones helping me on the project to just hop on Blender. Because if you've used Maya, you can likely use Blender. And it's like a great way of reducing like trading.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
way of reducing trading.
I'm always so impressed with people who work in 3D animation and Blender specifically. I tried Blender like a few years back
Oh,
when it comes to animation. It was like the maybe it was just the wrong guide or something, but it was like this is like it's like learning their language because I'm like, oh, they want me to add
yeah.
sprinkles to this donut now.
Oh,
And
okay. To be fair, the donut is a great first tutorial, but you should go for an older tutorial called the Lighthouse tutorial. If you like want to, the donut is great, but it's mostly just like a you come in just to see what it's like. It just gives you like a rundown. But if you really want to stick with it, I'd go with the Lighthouse one. It's a PDF. There's not even a video on it. It's genuinely just a PDF.
I love yeah. Uh
So I'm always like, Oh, that was Blender is first of all free. We only use free programs in this. That's a great way to keep production costs down. Because Toon
Of
Boom
course.
Harmony, there was a time I was making game assets, was just so expensive. Yikes!
Yeah, yes, it is. As someone from experience, Two Moon Harmony can get up there.
I was like, I'm barely making any profit on this freelance gig, y'all. So I'll
Yeah.
just stick with Blender for a bit. So okay, let's see. Mostly, I'd say Blender 4 point, not 5. Current Blender is too advanced for a project. I can still like transfer a project files to it, and with each, as the program improves, there's a lot more that's been added to it. But I try not to upgrade beyond. I think. Let me see if I have. Let me see which version I'm using. I'm using 4.53. That's what I. That's the one that works best for me.
Nice.
It's kind of old at this point. It's outdated, but it works best. It has a great. It has like it's very easy to combine 2D and 3D with this one, and I
Hmm.
don't want to change it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want
The
like
way you
to learn a
combine,
new layout.
yeah, the way you combine 2D and 3D is so impressive too, because there is an aspect of like how far 3D has come as a series, and it's just like comparing that to like stuff like back in the day, even like 2011, of just how like developed this series has gotten, and like how like cool the movement is, but also like the stuff you do with the eyes with the characters specifically, that's so cool, of like the
Yay!
little sparkles that come off from there.
Yeah,
And that's something
it's
that
so
like
fun to do.
yeah, yeah, I don't think it would have the same, quite the same impact as if it was 2D. It gives it another kind of like unique, just like grabbing point for people.
Yeah, like it's fun to just directly draw them in. I let's see. What's one? Also, I'm trying to reference Arcane.
Yes,
Arcane most is a really composition. What
composition.
happens after like the assets are made
You
is really
it's composition. Sorry, you're good.
no, yeah, it's really composition heavy. Like they're the ones that make the film work.
Mhm.
So like I usually find like if you want your production to be unique, you'll just find the one aspect of the production line that you have to work out. You have to make it work for yourself. For me to be directly drawing in, as I animate, I'm directly drawing in parts that I would like to. I'm actively just drawing in parts. Since I'm like animating on twos, it's basically just
Mhm.
it's basically just cell animation, but in a virtual space. If like this doesn't look 3D at all. I can see I can see it's animated on twos. So I'm like, yeah, that's just stepped animation, stepped animation. And but it has smear frames. Yes, I drew them in grease pencil.
Yeah.
But it has the composition outline. And that has a decent okay, it's not very good, but it has a decent composite. And if you like that's the one part of it. Like, it's not that good, but it has a decent compositor. That's where Krita comes in, which Krita is technically painting software,
Mhm.
but it has enough features that it has enough features and enough links to Blender that you can just combine the two and have a really interesting software. Like it's fun. I really like the tech aspect of it. It's quite fun. And the community around the two programs is really active. Like
Nice.
I don't know how to if you go to a program like it's a program that I was looking for help on. I'll just use Maya as an example again. The Maya community isn't that active these days as it used to be. So basically, you have like an issue, you go to the forum and be like, "Hey guys, could y'all help me out?" It'll take a while for them to get back to you. Or
Mhm.
if you go to like these, if you go to Blender or Krita, it usually takes a couple of hours. I think a couple of hours on their Reddit, and they're like, "I gotcha. Send me the project files. I'll help you out with this." Or a very detailed tutorial is just posted in your DMs, and you're like, "Thank you so much, y'all. Best customer support is just friends from around the world."
Yeah, I love that. Especially
Like
with like
it's awesome.
calling, yeah, calling in friend favors for animation. It's one of my favorite things. But also, you're when you talk about 3D animation, I think it kind of gets to this point that like a frustration I have of a lot of people who are kind of like online who want to talk about 3D or like even like digital animation. That's like, and they say like, oh, it's like a computer does it, or it's not as good as like 2D. It's like that is such just crap right there because like everything you see on like a 3D thing, people still make that hand to hand, and people still like
Yeah,
do 2D animation. I think you're when you talk about like the fact that like you paint all your backgrounds, it gives such a like an effect that's like it's so hard to replicate in another kind of fashion. And I think it really helps show the love of both like animation and art, but like how to progress as an artist as well.
yeah. But like I usually find that when that argument is made, I'm usually I find it difficult to like answer. The
Mhm.
main difference between hmm, at some point all these programs are exactly the same unless
Mhm.
you're directly drawing on pen and paper. At some point you get to a certain point and you're like, I'm basically doing what I'd be doing if I was working in Harmony, if I was working in Toon Squid or
Mhm.
TV Paint. Like I'm you're basically doing the same thing, it's just a different layout. So usually when someone makes that argument, I'm like, you probably haven't opened a program yet. So like give it a shot and then you get to like 3 months down the line, if you try two programs, you'll be like, oh, I could have just done this in this one.
Mhm.
Or this would have been easier if I did it in this. Everything has like its pros and cons. So unless the only thing I don't think of as a tool is artificial
Of
intelligence.
course, yeah, that's a well said
That's not
right
a
aspect
tool.
here. Yeah,
That is not a tool at all. That's just like ordering food.
yeah.
As in
Um,
ordering food from a restaurant.
mhm,
And sometimes
mhm.
you just don't. Ugh, like, man, the food around here is terrible. Besides the pastries, but the food around here is terrible.
I'm sorry to
Okay.
get you away from talking smack about French food, but it's just I really want to know of also just when it comes to the characters themselves of Ebony Witch, did you find yourself like was there any specific kind of character that you had issue with designing or bringing over from 2D to 3D? Because we've seen so many of these like character designs before.
Oh yeah, that's true. Uh, okay. The character that has had the most changes is Luca.
Luca.
That kid has changed a lot. Luca is the blonde boy. He has changed a lot. He constantly has to be like redone. Because how do I put this? I'm trying to find. They are not. It's not that they're difficult. It's that they're difficult to have them look pretty. That's the one. I'd like them to. I like most of my characters being pretty, and Luca is like the base for all the guys.
Mhm.
I find it so easy to transfer the girls from like book to this. I'm like, oh, that's such a simple shape language, very easy, barely an inconvenience. I, and then you go to the dudes, you're like, oof,
Are
okay,
you
I need like
do
like
you
it
find yourself
goes,
more drawn to female character designs than male character designs?
yeah, like okay, that's my own fault. So I can't say it's difficult. It's just difficult from like a personal standing because I know shape language for a girl, it's easy. Circles, round bits, soft bits. For a guy, it has to be different because guys are hmm, like, okay, you have, like, I can see the drawing. That's the drawing. I've drawn it. Now putting it into 3, I'm like, that's not gonna work.
Mhm.
The planes, the mesh doesn't work like that. I'm going to have to
Mhm.
break this model. Ooh, I'm going to have to break this model. And once that model is works for the model now works for that character, but it can't transfer to the next one. I can't just be like, I'll just recall this one and call him a dude, a different dude. I'm like, oh no, I actually have to like. It's not even like a diverse body type thing. It's more of stance and gait. Like
The
all of them.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This one is a cold dude. This one is a slouchy fella. This one is a proud individual. This one is more laid back. Those are very when you're designing male characters, those are very different people. When you're
Mhm.
designing female characters, you can usually just read that in like makeup. You can put that in like hair design. It's easy to just transfer. But with guys, you actually there's like research, which
Mhm.
is not a bad thing to do. I guess I'm just like, ugh, homework. It's homework I don't want to deal with. But like Oh, they're so difficult. There's so much research when you're designing men.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, to be fair, I think is more of a skill issue on my part. I have one brother.
uh,
It's a skill
no,
issue on my part.
not as much casual exposure to the other side when it comes to fashion. Yeah, it's kind of an
Yes,
issue I have with like some designs of like the ladies get all these cool clothes and all these like nice like dresses and like cool makeup and like different hairstyles. It's like the guys, it's like they're just like copy
the
paste.
default male is a shirt and pants, and you're like, I can't work with this, y'all. I need
Yeah.
like, I need something.
Yeah. Do you have
Like,
a fantasy show or just like a show that takes place in the past in general where it's just like, I love that fashion?
yes, what's it called? Starlight, Stardust.
Stardust. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember
Yes.
that. 2009,
Oh,
I think.
I think so.
Wow, it's crazy.
It's like old. I'm like, that is a go-to film. I'm always like, okay, I can draw. I can just borrow the fashion straight up and do a recolor.
Mhm. That's great.
And it definitely works. They have great silhouettes. They have like good hairstyles
Mhm.
for guys. And okay, I have not been able to add a beard that I like. I genuinely don't like no offense. I genuinely don't
You're
like
good.
drawing facial hair. It
No,
takes so it takes the skill of a barber, of which I do not have,
yeah, yeah,
to
no.
make some things look good.
I'm Italian and Polish, so I know
Oh,
I'm
lucky.
well experienced with facial hair since I was a teenager. Just just
It takes
what you
like
see now.
skill.
This is what a 15-year-old me looks like too.
Oh, awesome. It takes like actual skill to make. How do I put this? I find it so easy to work with. Okay. I find it so easy to work with Bonnie and Isidore and all the female characters. It's super easy for me to work with. Then I go to the male characters. I'm like, okay, how am I going to make this guy look like he's an insomniac who's just tired? I have to change his posture. The mesh won't. I have to change his. Let me try changing his posture. I'm like, okay, they're all. That's why I kind of kept all the guys in one outfit, and I
Mhm.
just said we'll just read them with poses. Because until I research guy fashion in a fantasy setting, we are not doing this. I'm like, oh, I'll just make. It'll have to be. You have to now focus on. Let me see. Like it's a common issue. I don't want it to be an issue, but I'm like, I'm really struggling with design. I might actually have to get extra help on this. I'm thinking of commissioning a friend to just draw the guys in casual outfits because she has a
Mhm.
really good eye for fashion design.
Of
So I was
course.
like, could you just
Yeah.
draw them how you think they look, and I'll just add some belts and buckles and call it an
Yeah.
outfit.
I remember the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's really into fashion, and he gives his male
Yes,
characters a lot of female fashion because it's like I don't like the way male fashion looks. It just kind of looks boring these days.
yeah, it's just so default. Like it feels like placeholder, and it's what everyone is expected to wear. Even the Met Gala was so boring this year. My
Yeah,
God.
this
Like
Brian
I'll get
Tyler
some
Henry.
inspiration from yeah,
Yeah,
I'll get some inspiration from that guy. It'll be super. It's just a suit. Can't have people running around in suits.
no,
What
no,
happened to the old fashioned? It was such a good theme too this year. Yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
Go back to Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker Dracula with all the big red outfits.
Yes, God. Oh, have you ever seen the art, the concept art for the animated Dracula film that was supposed to come out?
Don Bluth, yeah,
God,
yeah,
yeah, God, that would we were
yeah.
robbed. I will
But
die.
yeah.
I'm going to
Speaking
die
of,
mad about that.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of canceled projects he has. It's like I wish I saw that, but uh,
Yeah.
speaking of research, though, with fashion, your characters, and the backgrounds in general, uh, can you speak a bit about like the cultural influences in Ebony Witch? Because you've been shown to
Oh,
mix and
that's easy.
match from different time periods and cultures. Was it
Yeah.
also more of a fashion aspect, or was it just something you were really interested in and really wanted to show off?
Um, that one is more of, let me see, what's it called? Let's see. Fashion wise, at some point, I just started making stuff up.
Mhm.
I could say originally, like a lot of the influence came from like the Stardust film. But at some point, I'm like, I'm just going to make things up and see what
Yeah.
happens. Have you seen, or wait, there was one outfit I just took straight from the Merlin TV series. Like,
I've
I
heard of
just
that. I've
lifted
never
it
seen
as
that.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, watch everything and skip the last season.
Okay.
It is a very good series, but you don't need to see the last season.
Nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
oof. That was the start of my curse with like films that don't my series never end well, and that's why I stopped being attached to series. Nothing I like has ever ended well. Voltron, Merlin, let's see, Game of Thrones, to speak like Supernatural, everything I tried to. I didn't really like the ending of Shira and the Princesses of Power. It was a good ending. Like that one was one of the better endings. But I'm like, it was. I would have liked a more open ending, me personally.
mhm.
Or let's go with like almost every series I watch, the ending is just cursed. Star versus the forces of evil. Good God, that was that was that was a. I mean, okay, it's a good, beautiful show. Genuinely one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. What do you mean we're destroying the magic? The whole point of this was the magic. Wait, okay, fair. Oh, that was a spoiler. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's 10 years old at this point, I think. But
Like,
okay.
oh,
I just wanted to ask if like the because you've mentioned before about like Bonnie's outfit and like her makeup as well as like I think you've mentioned before Luca was like Czechoslovakian. Was there
yeah.
like influence you did to like the real world like cultural equivalents like these characters have?
Oh, actually, That's very easy to answer. A lot of the characters you see are people I know in real life.
Nice.
Well, they are based off of people I know in real life. Um, I could give the no. I don't want to give like their names, but like
Of course.
these are friends I have had. So let's say Isado is a person who goes by Koal. Their gamer tags are like I can go with let's go with their gamer
Yeah,
tags.
you
All
you
of
could just
them
give
exist
their like
IRL.
yeah you could give like their cultural
Gamer
background.
tags. Isado. Oh yeah, Isado would be a friend I've had for like years.
Hmm.
At this point, she'll probably be at she'll be at my funeral. God knows I'm not, I'm living her. Luca is based off of a friend I've had for a while. He's Ketch.
Hmm.
I love it. Awesome, awesome dude. Although he is currently a brunette. Like
Nice.
he changes his hair often. Changes his hair often. But he's naturally like a redhead. I think. I've never
Ooh.
actually seen like his actual hair, but it's reddish according to their like these are people I know. Uh
Mhm.
Isado's older brother is one of my older guy friends who's just like been around the friend group, but he's like doesn't hang out with us a lot because he's still thinks of us as kids despite
Yeah.
just being mid 30s. He's in his mid 30s. You know that it's not like that big of a difference. Like if Ross is based off of a fellow insomniac. Well, Ross is a white-haired character.
Yeah.
We don't sleep much. Like we both insomniacs. So like I'll put you in. Like these are people I know IRL. I just take even Bonnie is based off of a person called Kez
Hmm.
because Kez is a gorgeous woman and she has a huge. You think Bonnie's hair is big? My God, you've never seen her. Like
I love.
she she like braided her hair in locks and just left them when we were kids. Now she's it's like rope. Rapunzel it's genuinely like Rapunzel. It's genuinely like Rapunzel's length in the film when they were braiding her hair.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hair. You think Bonnie has big hair? Nah. Like these are just people I know IRL. I just take their look and I put them in the film. I don't think I'm that creative because usually, like, if I want to even make a new character, I'll just go outside with a sketchbook and be like, let's find someone who's dressed interestingly today. People
I
don't take
love
offense to that, thank God.
no, of course. I love the like that level kind of give it like a both a sense of like uniqueness, but also like authenticity that can be kind of hard to come across in a lot of kind of current animation and TV shows and sitcoms. I always love it whenever it's like this just feels like someone you brought off the street or someone who's just like who has a real
Yeah,
life in the background. I think also it makes these characters a lot more unique, even with aspects of like how was Ross the blind girl? Who was the blind girl? Isabella, right?
Isado. Yeah,
Yeah,
Isado.
yeah.
Isado.
Isado.
Like,
Isado, sorry. I know there's a Isa problem. It's just like it's a flip of the coin,
yeah.
but yeah, just the fact her reading that off with her fingers, like that's such a cool detail and so unique, and like her
Yeah.
relationships. It feels like these characters like they have had a full life prior to this.
Yeah. I really hope, like, oof, I hope people like them. Isado actually came up because what's this YouTuber's name? Princess Weeks.
Oh,
Is a YouTuber
she's
I
a
watch a
mutual of
lot.
mine.
Well,
Yeah, I know her.
oh,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. I draw a lot while she's talking, and then one of her videos. Okay, this did start out as the story itself is based off of the Vampire Diaries.
Hmm.
That's like its baseline. That's like its base purest form. So there was a point. There was a point she was making about the Vampire Diaries, and I was like, where she was like, I need give people black friends. That's like a very specific point. And I was like, I had since it was based off of Bonnie from the Vampire Diaries, like God, could I had Isabel is an original character I had brought into the fanfic of that one. I was like, wait, this is my story now. I can
Yeah,
just bring her up in story.
I
Like
love that.
instead of waiting until I run through everything, I can just put her at the front.
Hmm.
And I hadn't realized that until I watched her video. Like, oh wait, I could just do that
Yeah, just
instead of like following this story. It's so far removed from the film, from the show.
yeah.
Again, another show of mine that ended badly, but it's now so far removed from it. I can just shift things around.
It's the
So
power of you're
it's
an original.
genuinely,
Yeah. Oh, it's
yeah,
just it's the power.
I
You're an
can do
original
this.
artist now with your own original story. You can do anything you want. You have the power.
Yeah,
That kind.
and I had
Yeah.
not realized that until like her video, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm. I
I,
don't know
I hope
too
she, I
much.
hope she wants to see the film.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Vampire Diaries, though I do. Friend of the show, Bree Viscus, creator of the tomes, who I've interviewed before. She's also a black girl making a indie animated series, and she's talked about like yeah, like Vampire Diaries and Buffy don't treat black women well in that show.
Oh
So I'm
God,
guessing
the
this might
trouble.
be yeah that kind of trope. Uh,
Yes, it God, being into vampire stuff as a kid was traumatic. It never ended well, like ever.
yeah,
Did it? Maybe with the exception of Twilight. Like, was that a good ending? I still think Twilight, if you just shift stories a bit, Twilight is a horrifying story. But like it was not easy being in those fan it was not easy being in fandom. Oh, okay. That one is I'll get too heated, and who knows, maybe one of the writers are like watching watching
how
this
dare
stream.
you? But
I'd get too heated, like, oh my god, that was a bad play on their part. But like, I feel most of the characters you see already exist IRL. Like, I know these people. Even I even managed to get Lucas inspiration to like, because he's really into cosplay. So I just asked him if he could like get me a character book of him.
nice. Oh, I
Commission, of
love
course. I
that.
was like, nice. Now I have references. Now I have references. That's actually when his look turned out good. Finally turned out good because I've never redrawn a person as much as I have redrawn Luca so many times. But after I
Uh,
got the character book I got his character book. I didn't know you could commission cosplayers to do that. Like, hey, could you just like dress up as this person and send me like a photo book? I didn't know you could do that. So after
that
that
sounds really useful.
discovery, yes, after that discovery, I am having a great time now. His design just streamlined a lot, and I'm actively trying to find someone. I think I found someone to do for Anne and Isabel. So I'm like, yes, this is tech. I am definitely cheating at character references. This is perfect for me. Like,
uh,
it's so convenient. It's so convenient.
yeah. We've
Oh,
mentioned this a few times. Oh, sorry.
oh,
We've
sorry, my
mentioned this.
dog was just jumping, running across the field. He's
little
a bit
dog.
big, so it's like noticeable.
Yeah, little doggy escapades, but yeah. But we've talked about this a few times. I want to kind of get more into detail of it. You had a Kickstarter, which was fully funded. Was that like an interesting process for you? Like, how'd you go about funding the Kickstarter? Like, what were the rewards you set for people? And like, were you
Oh,
scared
okay.
you weren't going to meet your goal? And like, was it enough for your goal?
Oh, okay. So I shall be frank, animation is very expensive.
Mhm,
But like you said earlier, we kind of came from nowhere. Like
mhm.
now, I don't have a base in I don't have a base in like as an artist. I genuinely did not have a base. Like people know I exist.
Yeah.
Some people you can usually, let's say, a lot of artists working on indie projects are artists that have been, I wanna say, have their own, are popular in their own right, technically speaking.
Mhm.
Like that's their base. So for me, it was like, oh no, I barely posted anything artistically, so I've come out of nowhere. So I had from there, like, had to severely manage the project, like in every aspect. I set the goal at $10,000 because my logic was I can fund the rest. I just need to actually know people will be willing to actually see the project.
Mhm.
So the project is going to be done regardless because I would like to think at least I know until episode 3 I can probably handle until that much. From there it might get difficult because I organize my life in plans. So I gave this project like 5 years and we're on year 2. So my logic is I think I'll be done by then. If not, because I do have to move on to other things like a house. I'm trying to. My logic is after 5 years, then I can start considering getting a house. Until then, it is the project. Yeah, generally, that's how I've organized like my life goals. It'll be house and retirement. I don't. Okay, after house, there's not much
Big gap
plans
in
after
between
house.
those
It's
two.
mostly retirement. Yeah, because I'm like, yeah. And my logic is, if I get the house, rent is covered. Who knows what that would open? The possibilities that would open.
Mhm.
That would be hilarious. Hey, what was I saying?
So
Oh
we were
yes.
just talking about the
So
Kickstarter.
yeah. Okay. So I worked on it in that my logic was the Kickstarter would be more like proof of audience rather
Mhm.
than proof of funds. So 10 grand is a lot to ask from a team that did not exist before the project was announced. Like, okay, but at the same time, 10 grand is not enough to like cover production. Like,
Mhm.
animation is expensive. So our logic
Yeah.
would be this is proof of audience and it will help us like cushion the thing. It will help us cushion like the production while we fund the rest ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
then you
great.
just like find ways of saving cash here and there. Right now, my logic is right now, since people like the project and know it exists, if we ran a second one, it could likely fund the full production.
Mhm.
So, but I think maybe I would only run a second one after I'm done with the animatic and like a lot. Oh, I'm still working on the first episode.
Yes.
It's actually what's on my desk behind. It's actually what's on episode behind it. So like once I'm done with the animatic, then maybe I could consider. I'll see like how long it is. Then I could consider running a second one just to see if it's different. Because running a
Mhm.
campaign is a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's genuinely not feasible to run one for every episode. You, as the creator, you will go mad. Like,
Mhm.
oh, when we ran that campaign, it was not at the best time to run a campaign. But I was like, no, we're doing it. I just want to see if people actually want to see the project. That's all. That's even if it doesn't get funded. If it can get like almost funded, I'll know someone is willing to watch the show.
Yeah,
Because
that's a
at the
great.
time, yeah, like it's more of pre-sailing movie tickets. Is there an interest
Yeah.
or pre-ordering a book? Is there a genuine interest that I can like put a number to? Because since I mostly posted, I'm trying to now diversify where I post, but since I mostly posted on Twitter, you do kind of have to reckon with the fact that 70% of Twitter is bots. So you have to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't like use that as a statistic. Let's use Kickstarter, which you actually have to engage with the project by pledging an amount. Then I can tell if there's audience interest. That's the best way to read it. Because everything else, it has like a monetary value. It has like, unfortunately, money is the only monetary value that counts in this day and age. Like, that's a hard figure. Like, that's what people are willing to part with. And so that means as proof of audience that it exists. The rest of the funding could come up from out of pocket because I'm like, I've planned for this about 3 years. I could buy a house, but after like 3 years, I'll fund. After 3 years, I'll focus then on like getting a mortgage. But for now, I'll give like a portion of it to the project because I do want it to exist. Like, I don't know how to put this. It's more like I don't mind the loss. It's genuinely a net loss on my part, but I'm like, I need this project to exist. If this project existed when I was a kid, I would be less traumatized with fandom.
Yeah.
Like, it has to exist. So I'm going to make it exist. Like,
Of course.
so but I don't, if a person is watching this and they want to like run a Kickstarter for every episode, you will go mad before you hit episode 4. Like, oh, that was so much work. It's a lot more work than I expected it to be. Because like in my head, I was like, how hard can it be to just run a promotional campaign? Like, okay, to be fair, I now have a lot of empathy to the sales people at work. I now have a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
beforehand, I was genuinely like, what do you guys do all day? Genuinely speaking. A lot, apparently. Wow. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I could never work in sales. That was difficult. That was genuinely
Yeah, I
like,
talk to people a lot.
yeah. And you always have to be like present and available no matter what. Like, you could be in the foulest mood. Let's say, like during the campaign, there was a time I was genuinely tired, exhausted. Like, I don't want to be on the hype train today. I don't even want to be outside today. It's just one of those days where work was terrible. You get home, nothing works. You're like,
Yeah.
even the Wi-Fi is slow. Nothing is working. You still have to hop on and be like, hey guys, you have to be like this chipper attitude that you're just like, I don't have it in me today. And you genuinely can't stop. You have to be like present. You have to like show you yourself believe in the project for other people to believe in it. And sometimes you're like, I just want a nap. Honestly, I just need a day off. But like,
we're all artists who work on their projects like this in the animation sphere. There's so much work that I don't think people who just watch the project once never think of. Just
yeah, but okay. I usually say I'm really glad I started with webtoons, the comic, and then moved to animation because I'm like, you think indie animation fans are difficult? Wow, you've never met a webtoon reader. Like, webtoon readers are the best community that will support you, but dare you miss an update? Oh God. Or the parasocial relationship people usually develop if they like your story, if they like your characters. It's like they think they're real sometimes. Some people do believe they're real. And you're there like, you can't, oh God. There was a time you can't even injure them without someone coming into finding your DMs. Like, my Discord was not a public knowledge. And someone found it. And wow, they really like Bonnie, which is cute. That person is crazy. I'm
yeah.
like, wow, you really like the character. I'm really glad you like Bonnie that much. I'm kind of scared right now, though, not gonna lie. And like, it's cute on one hand. I now know what fandom is as a person who was in fandom a lot, and I have so much empathy for the creators. I would have been a much nicer Voltron fan if I knew.
Yeah, on the other side,
Had I known, I would have been much nicer. I wouldn't have complained about the pacing. Well, like,
look, yeah,
I said, yeah,
maybe a little.
I would have been less vocal about it on the internet. But like, it's a lot of it. crowdfunding is a lot of work because from there you have to manage the team because that they're like, oh, do we have like actual work? Because originally it was just working for fun, but now it has to be like standardized, like streamlined into into corporate. And that is such a weird thing to do with friends. Like you're like, okay, now we have to like write like revenue share agreement. Okay. Work share agreement. Okay. I have to go to a lawyer to talk with a friend, a person. I know your mom, but okay. Like, I've been at your house. I've crashed on your couch on many occasions. But now you're like, okay, let us sign this agreement so that we don't sue each other over YouTube in a couple of years.
Nice. I love that.
Like, it's so much unexpected work because we came into it knowing we're going to be drawing a lot for like 5 years. And then the drawing is the easy part. It's the rest that's just, it's the rest of it that isn't. Now we have to like manage stock. We're even getting affected by wild stuff. Like, what was it? The shipping costs became exponentially more expensive in the past 7 months. Like, yeah, originally it was not. Originally it was like everything has its allocated budget, and that's fair enough. And then a bunch of old dudes decided they don't like each other anymore, and now it's expensive. I'm like, it's fine. What can you do? But now you have to explain that to like the people who have supported your project, and people are really understanding, which is nice, which is very kind.
Good.
Like, I think I've really lucked out. I feel like that's not the correct saying, but I've gotten really lucky in that I have a really nice team and really nice audience people. I usually call them readers because most of them came from the book. Like, I've lucked out in a chill readership and chill team. The only so I think it has been interesting. Crowdfunding is not easy because of the marketing. Oh, alarm.
Of course.
Sorry.
Especially when you don't have the experience of like going out very confidently, being like, "Hey, here's my project." That's
yes, and that's why I'm glad I started with Twitter because I still don't have a TikTok. I don't want a TikTok. I don't think I'll ever get a TikTok. But I now actually have to start posting on Instagram, and then people suggest post videos of yourself, be more personable, and I'm like, I barely own a video camera. That's why I usually struggle with like Zoom calls. I don't do that. Yeah. If you want to reach, call. I'll always pick up. You have to like put yourself out there, and I'm like, why? You guys are here for the show. You're not here for me.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's just one of those things of like putting yourself out there, especially as an indie person, can be so scary. But it's just,
it's ironic because the ones who are making animation are the most introverted people you've ever met in life, and then you're asking them to like, hey, open up your camera and like talk to people.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about other people's projects, not so my own, not so much my own.
Yeah,
but
like, do I have these people? Do I need people? I don't want to need people to like me. That's terrifying. That's a lot of pressure. Totally. I'd rather center on the project because like it's one thing. It's one thing getting feedback about a project. It's another thing getting feedback about yourself.
Yeah.
Ugh, could never be me.
Yeah. Speaking of Ebony Witch as its growth of a project, and you've talked about your 5-year plan, which is really impressive. Do you have like the future of Ebony Witch? Like, where would you want to see this end and go? Would you like to see a movie? Would you like to see it ever get produced by like a more official studio, or would you rather it stay online with the people?
Okay. 5-year plan wise, I can just break it down. Our logic was if it exists, eventually a better version of it will exist. So since it started out with the comic, it would be like we'll finish the pilot, make it to episode 1, 2, and 3. That's like half the movie produced.
Hmm.
As that's going on, we're still going to be looking for like partners in the industry or distribution partners where we could like sign a pre-sale agreement and we could use those funds to actually make the movie proper, because that would be like Hollywood budget. But at the same time, that's the chances of that happening aren't really high. But it's not. It has gone from I usually say it used to be 0%. Now it's at like maybe 2%, and
Yeah.
that's way higher than zero.
Especially with
So
how
like,
indie animation's getting so popular online. Just
yeah, it used to be like there's no chance anyone will ever see this, and now people have seen it, and it was someone reached out. It was nice. It was good enough to be. It's good enough to be screened at Annecy, so you get a chance to pitch there. But the chance of it being picked, there's no the chance of your first project, first pitch, and first like video event, film festival event. The chance of it being picked up there are low, but it's a good chance to actually see how things work out over there.
mhm.
Because I am an accountant, I do not know the artsy folks.
I
So
totally
like,
get
it's a good chance to see. So it's not the fact that as the project goes on, the chances of it becoming an actual feature film project in the future keep increasing. So my logic is I'll just keep it going until it does. It's not too difficult to do. Now, like 3 years, we'll get to at least episode 3, maybe start on episode 4. By then, I'm pretty sure we'll have something. And if not, it'll exist.
Right.
That's
You
more
just need to
than
make it first, just to prove it to yourself. It should be,
yeah.
that aspect of animation, which I think a lot of people overlook. It's like the artist is also so tied to this project too.
I need it to exist. It's
Yeah.
going like one by hell or high water. It's going to and usually I'm like, whenever I'm like, this will never work out. I'm a person who's really obsessed with statistics.
Mhm.
So I have like everything I've ever done in a graph, so I can actually see like progress. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, you actually come from really far. Who knows? Like, who knows what you'll be doing 6 months down the line? Genuinely
Yeah.
speaking, because like I specifically remember, like even on Twitter was basically my first social media. Before that, I only ran a meme page on Instagram. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so we can start. We've genuinely started from 0 in 2024. Not exactly 0, let's say 72.
Mhm.
We started at 72 people following the project from the webtoon in 2024. So like I say, Twitter is like the one, and now it's not. It's almost at 20K now, and that's just like 2 years down the line. So I can at least say people are seeing the project. So if I just keep it going, that will be great. Like it's not too difficult to keep it going. There are some sacrifices that are unfortunately being made, but they're also interesting investments. Like let's see, tech. I finally upgraded my PC. I can do it. So like that's interesting. The freelance gigs I get have actually gotten better now that the project is out. So like the offers I usually get, I'm like, originally they were a bit small scale and personal, but now I can actually work in studio productions. They're like, hey, you did this. Are you available for this? I'm like, yes. So I'm like, yeah, still improving in income.
Yeah. That's such an impressive level of growth to see. I imagine it must be really cool as an artist as well.
It's fun. It does, like, there are pros and cons here and there, but I'm like, the pros far outweigh the cons.
Nice.
I've had to like learn to be a present person, which is not fun. Like none of us were on social media. No one. It's like even like the team, I had to convince them to open Instagram pages, and they still have like 2 posts up. I'm like, okay, guys, I need y'all to like update your portfolio. They're like, for what though? Who does? Like, we don't need to do that. Everyone, it's really fun working on the production. Actually, it's really fun working with friends. But I have had to manage people's feelings. Artists have a lot of ego. Like, wow.
Definitely the hardest thing I've had is just like having to like actually like put your foot down because it'd be like, here's my suggestions. Like, no, you can't do that anymore.
Yes, and sometimes they're like really into it and they get really upset. Like, but it's our project. We can do whatever we want. Like, yeah, but like budget, time, the sanity of everyone else who's going to be working on it. You have to manage everyone's feelings. So far, at least it's gone well. Like the only time I could say we nearly had a meltdown was when we was boarding the fight sequence. There was a fight sequence that was being boarded up, and they did such a beautiful. It was really impressive. They're really into Jujutsu Kaisen, so you could be like, "Wow, this is a really impressive fight sequence." We're gonna need to cut a lot of this though.
Just for time.
Have you ever seen like the light in someone? Have you ever seen like someone just freezes for a bit and they're still smiling, but you're like, you can see the light in their eyes dying. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, man.
Aww.
But it's like 6 minutes. Like, it kind of needs to go down. Like, but you could just see it. I felt so bad. Like, I'm not anime. That's a whole 6 minutes. The pilot would be a whole half hour. Like, think of us.
Yeah.
And with your dynamic camera angles. Because since we paint all the backgrounds, I'd have to paint like God knows the size of that background.
Yeah. That must be crazy.
Ooh, like it's fun. Except for like, managing egos, but it hasn't ended. That was the only part that I was like, it nearly ended in meltdown. I worked for like 2 months. Like, yeah, but we'll probably have to work on this for a year, bro. Like, this is so long. It's so long and so detailed. And it's dynamic movements. Think of us. Like, think of us while you work. Think of us. We're the ones doing like the God, the coloring. I cannot imagine the 2D effects we would have had to do if we stuck with it. Like, they're a big fan of Monty, so I feel like they really wanted. Yeah, they're a big fan of Monty, so I feel like they really wanted Ruby style fight sequence, which would have been really great. But like, oof,
action very expensive. Yeah,
that's so much work. I will try and reincorporate something similar to that later. But like, no, that would have killed us. We would still be working on it, honestly, right now. If we went through with that fight sequence, we would still be animating right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
But like, it's fun. Like, I really try to emphasize that everyone should work on a project like this at least once. It really builds empathy. I found I can't do anymore is watch film criticisms. Because I'm always like, you don't know what happened.
Yeah, they have to be really good for me to watch them these days. But yeah, I as someone who has went from like ghostwriting to comics to like, I'll do animation, no problem. This is going to be so easy. It was exhausting. It was like the most tiring project in my life. It makes me very humble whenever I talk about animation now. Just
even like I used to be. I consider myself a cinema snob. I love cinema. I consider myself a snob in that aspect. But now I'm always like, you know what? Everyone is just trying their best.
Yeah, you're like the mom at watching 2 soccer teams. Like, I hope they both have fun.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it's a good show. It's out. Maybe it's not for me, but like, they did their best. And I'm sure as long as the people are paid, that's all that matters in the grand scheme of things.
Great.
Like, originally, I'd be like, oh my God, the pacing on this sucked. You could have done something. Now I'm like, who knows? Man, who knows? Maybe they actually had to fight and argue to make it like this much. I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. Some corrections here and there, but it's not like they didn't do a crime. Why should I be upset? Why should I be upset? Billionaires exist. There are other things to be upset about.
I love that.
Like, it has really, I love, now it's really built up my actual appreciation for the arts.
That's
I'm always
cool.
like, I actually like all arts. I don't really, well, not all of them, with the exception of visual novels. I really like all the arts. I
Yeah.
don't really like visual novels. It feels more like an interactive storybook, and I like a clear cut ending. I really
Okay.
dislike multiple endings. So it's like
Uh,
I need to know what the actual ending is so that I can write fan fiction. Because I don't want to argue with I don't want to argue with a reader with a person on AO3 like that's not what happened. I'm like, well, it's the ending I got. So
mhm.
I don't want to argue with people in the AO3 comment section. But like, eh, I love the arts now. All the arts have clear cut endings.
Yeah, I
It's
love.
it's
Yeah,
such a it's
I
a
think that.
humbling process.
Yeah, I think that really is a proper mindset. I think everyone, not just in indie animation, but who just like whether they're working in studio or just like appreciate animation, should probably develop more. Uh, and we got like one more question before I have to wrap this up. What is what's the thing you want people to take away after they watch Ebony Witch?
Oh, okay. I have a line for that in the pitch Bible. I want it to feel like a hug. Like
Oh,
it's a film it brought me a lot of comfort. Even when I was writing the story, usually brought me a lot of comfort. I just like the vibes in it. So I wanted it to feel more like a hug. Like you can in this world, everything, sure, people are being killed off by like, there's uh, technically an imperialistic culling of a type of people in the background, but focus on like the good vibes. If you like, the world is difficult, even our world is difficult,
yeah.
but through it all, you like, if you have friends, something you like, or a companion, doesn't even have to be a real companion. Bonnie's best friend is a sock monkey bear thing.
Oh,
Like, if you just have that, you can genuinely get through even the worst things, the worst of the worst. So I just want people to like feel like it's a hug. Like,
oh.
you'll be fine regardless. Things will be difficult, but you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's so sweet. But to wrap this up, I am Mike Grayworks. I am the host of Indie Interviews
Poppy.
and several indie projects. Poppy, please let them know where the people can find you, how they can support Ebony Witch and you as an artist in the future.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I'm not sure if I'll run a second campaign this year or
Mhm.
next year because the animatic has to be done first so that people can actually see it. But you can just watch the pilot on YouTube for the Ebony Witch or just check us out on our socials. I now have an Instagram. It
Nice.
is difficult. Wow, it is difficult. So Poppihin across all boards. That's what I use everywhere. Even in my email, if you want to like reach out, because I have found some people like asking questions via email so they can be more direct. It's still poppihin@gmail.com. I've had this tag for years.
Nice.
Even my website is poppihin. I'm not changing it.
Oh, I love that. Just carry it over. But
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
this was such a treat to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. I've been wanting to have you for like months at this point. You're one of the indie creators I've been most looking forward to interviewing. And thank you so much
Yay.
for coming on board. It was so cool to learn about you. Until then, I am Mike from Greyworks. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.
See yous.